On the red one. That's that till it goes green.
On there. Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to call the Ohio Elections Commission meeting to order for May 8th, 2025. It is 10:02. First order, you have this up here? Yeah. First, make sure we have the right names.
Sure, you know who you are.
Right, I think so. First order of business is the minutes. What's your pleasure?
Oh, do we need to make
I'm
sure
gonna
who's
do
here
that.
and who's not here? Take a roll first.
So I guess we gotta do that.
I would like normally try. to
Okay,
do that.
Mr. Richter, would you please
I
take the
will
roll?
Gladly do. So Mr. Knight. Here. Mr. Kirschner. Present. Mr. Caraway. Mr. Wolke. Present. Mr. Lyle.
Present.
We have a quorum present. Ms. Davis, Ms. Tavar, or Chair Hagan, Vice Chair Davis, and Ms. Tavares are all absent. Mr. Wolke is present as an alternate in place of Ms. Davis. So we do have a quorum and we can conduct business, Mr. Chair.
All right, so a motion, first of all, would be in order then to excuse Chair Hagan, Vice Chair Davis, and Commissioner Tavares. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no? Okay, that motion passes by 5-0.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mr. Richter. So moving on to the minutes. I need a motion. Any additions or deletions on the minutes? Seeing none, can we have a motion, please?
I move that we accept the minutes from the regular meeting of April 24th, 2025.
Seconded.
Okay, we have a motion properly seconded. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's a 5-0 vote also. So first order of, or the next order of business, I'm sorry, is the preliminary review. Great House et al. Versus Warren Deserves Better et al. Case 2023G-009, Mr. Richter.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the office was contacted yesterday by Attorney Patrick Quinn, who indicated that he had been engaged by the respondents to serve as their counsel on this matter, and he contacted the commission yesterday. Also yesterday, I reached out to the complainant, Mr. Greathouse, and discussed with him the circumstances of this case, and indicated that the council had requested a continuance. He indicated that he was amenable to have the matter continued. And so I indicated to both Mr. Greathouse and Mr. Quinn that the matter would be continued to May 29th, 2029, and the parties agreed to that. So the matter has already been continued. It was just since we had already published the agenda, it was critical to
Enter it into the
indicate that
record.
the matter had been continued.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, going to number 3, group recommendations. Number 50, case 2025R-060, which is being withdrawn by the Board of Elections. Mr. Richter.
You simply need to acknowledge that a matter can be withdrawn from the commission's consideration at any time prior to the commission taking it up. That was the case here. After we received the referral from the Board of Elections, they asked that the matter be withdrawn, and so it has been withdrawn.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, before we move further, I guess I would indicate that, Chris, you have the list of who's present here.
I do.
Because we can start taking, we should take people online first, I think.
Should have written this on a different sheet of paper, so I'm not getting up the last page of mine.
Okay. Thank you. And move forward, I think it's appropriate to take the people online, deal with them first. Get them taken care of as we move through these.
Okay, so where is this?
Let's see.
Here it is, $1,350 fine.
Yeah, why don't we go take Frida Fuchs 2025 R023 first, Mr. Hughes.
Yes, hi.
She needs to be sworn.
Yes, you need to be sworn. The court reporter can do that. Please be seen by the commission and make a statement.
I'm
Yes,
sorry for the commission. It's under $50 fine. It's number 13-2025R-023.
yes. Can I make a statement?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
You need to
be
be
sworn
sworn
first.
in by the court reporter.
Please
Oh,
raise your right
yes.
hand. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
You.
Yes, I acknowledge my mistake. What happened was I ran for office in 2023 and I filed at least one or two more times. And then I didn't realize I had to file. And by the time I got the notice, it was actually beyond the deadline. So I immediately contacted the campaign finance officer at the Lorraine Board of Elections. And so I had to make an appointment with her because there was a discrepancy of $50, she told me. And so I had to meet with her. I went in at least 2 or 3 times to meet with her so that we could get the record straight. But I had to also do it according to her schedule. So I apologize. My record is now completely in order, and I've completely withdrawn from politics. I only ran one time. And again, I didn't realize that these deadlines were so strict. Again, I filed once or twice afterwards. And since I wasn't running anymore, I put an end to my political career. I just didn't realize I had to file again in 2025.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Richter.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, my recommendation is to find a violation and impose a fine of $50. This is a referral for the failure to file the 2024 annual report. The report was due on January
Yes.
31st. It was filed on March 14th. And so beyond about a 10-day to 2-week period of time, which I generally use to for good cause. So my recommendation is to impose a fine of $50, but if the commission wants to do something different, I certainly understand that.
Commission members, motions in order.
I just say, just to be helpful, she just needs to terminate her campaign fund if she's no longer.
If she does, yeah, certainly that's one of the options that's.
I have
available.
terminated. I did terminate. I completely terminated it. I did so with the help of the campaign office clerk at the Lorraine Board of Elections. So I'm just wondering if you could consider waiving my fine. I'm completely in order with my books. I would have filed earlier if I could have suited. I mean, I had to work also according to Mrs. Maldonado's schedule. So if she could have seen me earlier, it probably would have been filed earlier. But, you know, I acknowledge responsibility for what happened.
Okay, so Ms. Bush is asking for reconsideration by the committee. Just throwing it out, she did not have any priors before this incident. So committee, it's in your hands.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to find a violation with for good cause.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a second by Mr. Quilke. Okay, we have a motion, a second properly before us. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, you're ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion of making it just a violation, but for good cause, signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
No,
The motion passes 4-1.
Thank you, ma'am.
So am I to understand that I'm fined $50?
No, you're not. There
Okay,
was a motion to modify it. So there's
Thank
no
you.
fine, but there is a violation because you were late.
Yes. So what does that mean in practice? Does it stay on my record? I'm no longer in politics. I will never run again. I can promise you that, because it turned out to be quite different from what I expected.
Well, it will be on the record,
Okay.
but since you're not running, it really is non-consequential to you.
All right. I really appreciate it. And I thank you for listening to my case and for
All right,
being.
well, thank you.
Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
right, have a good morning. Thank you.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Which one we take?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the next case I would suggest to take up is case number 2025 R-012. It is currently in the $100 fine category. The report was filed. It was about 3 months, two and a half months late. Part of my recommendation is to find a violation, impose a $100 fine. Some of that comes because of the fact that there was no response submitted. There is one prior involving this case, but it was from 2012. And so the commission, there's actually two people online concerning this case. The treasurer, James Sprague, and the candidate, Jeff Smith.
Okay, so committee, it's number 2 on your agenda.
It's number 2 on the agenda.
Under $100 fine.
$100 fine. And so I don't,
Okay,
Mr. Hughes, if you would bring either Mr. Sprague or Mr. Smith up, the commission could certainly hear from them on this matter, and it may affect my recommendation. Bring both.
Okay. It's Mr. Smith.
Yes, here I am. Thank you.
Okay, sir, you heard Mr. Richter's recommendation. Did you want to address the commission?
Yeah, I do.
Well, you need to be sworn.
If you're going to address the commission, you need to be sworn.
You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. We had thought that we had concluded this and closed out this account and the need to file in 2024. We closed the bank accounts, we closed all the paperwork, and my treasurer is online as well with regard to this. And he was in the middle of tax season when we got the March 26th letter. We contacted Mr. Richter. I think both of us, you can talk to him as well. And we filed the closing, I guess the final closing documents right after tax day was over. I don't even know what the 2012 violation was. I can't remember what that was. I don't remember whether my prior treasurer, because we kept an account open for a long time. But you know, obviously I try to do everything the right way, and we closed the account. We thought that the whole committee was closed back in 2024. And if Jim has anything to add, I'd appreciate it. He's going to need to be sworn in as well.
Mr. Sprague, do you want to address the commission?
Sure.
Okay, you'll need to be sworn.
Please raise your right hand. You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, sir, go ahead.
To Jeff's point, when the campaign concluded, we had closed out the account. We'd actually gone to the county commission to say we were done and what did we need to do to close up the campaign. There was a matter of amending some prior reports because there was some loans that Mr. Smith had made, as well as the deputy treasurer back several years ago had made. And any campaign money that was left over, we distributed out to repay those loans, and we thought we were done. And as Jeff mentioned, I am a CPA, and when we got the notification early 25, I was in the throes of that. We pledged to take care of all the filings, which I did do on April 16th, the day after tax season ended. So we did file the reports. We terminated the campaign. Everything's closed up. Obviously, we apologize for not meeting the January 31st deadline, but certainly nothing was intentional on our part.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any
You're welcome.
questions from the commission? No questions from the commission. Mr. Richter, does this, you've heard their explanations. Does that change your recommendation?
It would change my recommendation, Mr. Chair, members of the commission. My recommendation due primarily to how much time went from the filing date to the actual submission of the report. My recommendation would change to find a violation, but impose a $50 fine.
Okay,
I'll move to adopt.
all right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second to properly adopt to change case 2025R-012 to a $50 fine instead of the $100 fine. Any discussion on that matter? Okay, seeing none, you're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, a vote of 5-0. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
gentlemen.
very much.
Do
Appreciate it,
we,
gentlemen.
how do I get that paid?
The commission's minutes for this meeting will be approved at our next meeting, which is May 29th. And then shortly thereafter, we will send out disposition letters indicating what the commission found. And once you receive that, then you can pay your fine to the commission.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
day,
you.
everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
Gentlemen.
Take care.
Are we on now?
Next one, I would say, Mr. Chair, members of the commission is, looks like, well, Heather Edelman is the person, and she's appears to be affiliated with two different committees, according to the notes that I have here. 2025 R-018 is a case.
I'm here to speak to that case. Cynthia
Just to
France,
that case.
I'm the treasurer. Yeah, just to that case.
Okay.
We're
That is, it is,
On the
it's under the
agenda.
$50 fine category, 2025 R-018.
Edelman, number 8 for the
Number
committee.
My recommendation, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, the report has been filed, response submitted. My recommendation is find a violation, impose a fine of $50. Obviously, if the commission wants to go in a different way, I would certainly understand that. We would have the ability to hear from Ms. Edelman. If she is sworn, if the commission decides to do so.
Ma'am, do you have any comments for the commission?
So I need to be sworn in.
Well,
I'm the-
you need, yeah, if you do, you need to be sworn in.
Yes, I do have some comments. Thank you.
Okay,
Swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
okay, go ahead, man.
I am the treasurer and I accept full responsibility for this error. It was a mistake made out of ignorance. Heather Adelman decided to end her campaign, and I believed I had taken all the steps to, I closed her account. I believed I had taken all of the steps to indicate that to the Board of Elections. I did not realize I needed to file this final report in 2024. The reason I did not respond as promptly as I should have is that I thought since I had finished my job, I didn't keep the records, and I had to go back and get records from the bank to demonstrate that I had closed the account. Again, the responsibility is entirely mine.
And she was
I'm the treasurer for Heather
She
Adelman.
is, she is both the candidate and treasurer.
you're both the candidate. Okay, I'm just seeing somebody else online. That's what I didn't know.
Heather is the treasurer for a different candidate. I'm the treasurer for Heather. Heather is the treasurer for a different candidate.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
All right, got it. Thank you. All right, Commission, you have heard Ms. Edelman asking for reconsideration.
Well, not during consideration. This matter is up before the commission for the first time.
I'm sorry.
That's
Okay,
okay.
verbiage.
Just trying to make that clear.
Yes, so does your recommendation change based?
My
on the
recommendation, my recommendation would not change based on this, on the comments. Again, based primarily on how how late the report was submitted, but if the commission decides it wants to go in a different direction, I certainly understand.
comments? Were there any priors?
There were no priors.
There were no priors. Okay, commission, it's in your hands. Motion would be in order.
Move to adopt the executive director's recommendation.
Okay, there's a motion to adopt the executive directors. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion properly before us. It's been properly second. Any discussion? Discussions, seeing, go ahead, Mr. Quokey.
Just a question for the director. How is this different than the original one with Miss, I think it was Fuchs that we voted on?
I don't know that it is that much different in the grand scheme of things. The filings were similarly late. And my recommendation is consistent across here.
Thank you, because I believe that if we're gonna be consistent, we should probably follow that same type of pattern with Ms. Edelman as we did with Ms. Fuchs. So I think I would not vote for this.
Okay. Any other discussion from the commission?
And maybe I misheard it. I would say there was one small different factor for me, which is that my sense in Ms. Fuchs' case was that she was actively engaging with the Board of Elections and somewhat dictated their schedule on some things that needed cleaned up in terms of the timing of the actual report filing. So I, in my mind, gave full credit for, the initial interaction with the board as kind of a proxy for the filing date. That to me was a small difference, Mr. Wilkie.
Okay, any other discussion under the motion?
I would only make the observation that the executive director's recommendation didn't change in either instance. The board just preferred to, in the first instance, move in a different direction.
Thank you, Mr. Kirschner. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, there is a motion properly before us and properly second. All those in favor of the motion? Please. Okay, please signify by the sign of aye. Those opposed, no?
No.
Okay, so we have a vote of 4-1.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's sufficient.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before she goes away, Ms. Edelman, you're listed as the treasurer for our case number 2025 R072. Did you also want to address that matter?
Yes, and Miss New is here as well.
Oh, Ms. New is here. I don't know that we had.
No, she just came on and.
She just came on. Okay, well, let's call that the case up then next, since Ms. Edelman's already been.
And where is it on our agenda?
It is under the good cause category. It's case number 2025 R072. It is case number 62, just new.
Okay.
My recommendation is to find a violation, but for good cause not opposed to fine. The report has been filed, a response submitted. Didn't see anything about there being a termination, but the report was filed on February 14th, and when it was due on January 31st. And so that's a basis for my recommendation to find good cause, as it was found sufficiently close to the due date for filing. Certainly, if the commission wanted to further hear from Ms. Edelman, she's already been sworn. If it wanted to hear from Ms. New would need to be sworn.
Ms. New, did you want to address the commission?
I'd be happy to, for sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you'll need to be sworn then.
Okay, sure, of course, no problem.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, I just, as I put in my letter, my sincerest apologies. This is my first term on council. There was a miscommunication as to my filing dates, and I had filed for the required form for the state and completely misunderstood that there was also one for the county. As soon as I found out what it was, I went online, as I already had my online credential set up, and filed it immediately.
Okay. Any questions from the commission members? Okay. Mr. Richter, does this change your
No,
recommendation?
my recommendation is to find a violation, but for good cause not opposed to fine, as I previously stated.
Okay, you've heard both from Ms. New and the executive director. A motion would be in order.
So move the executive director's recommendation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion properly second. Any discussion? Seeing none, you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
The next case I would bring to the commission is case number 2025 R-074. It's also in the good cause category. Joshua Garcia, the Friends of Garcia. April O'Connor is reflected as being present. She is the treasurer for the committee. Similar to the last case, the report was due on January 31st. It was filed on February 14th. A response was submitted, and so my recommendation is to find a violation, but for good cause, not impose a fine. If the commission wanted to hear further from Ms. O'Connor, we could certainly do so.
Ms. O'Connor, did you want to address the commission?
Yeah, I mean, I could speak. I was the candidate.
Oh,
Josh
okay.
Garcia.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Garcia.
that would be Mr.
Yeah.
Garcia, yeah, who I
Yeah,
didn't
sorry.
realize was present.
Do you want to address the commission?
Yeah,
Okay, you'll need to be sworn.
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
yes, I did.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, we apologize for filing late. We got the notification. I don't know if you guys receive the email yesterday. I was able to pass along to you guys.
I'm sorry.
Could you repeat that, please?
Were you able to receive the email that I passed along with all the documentation?
We got
Okay,
your
all right.
email, I reflected it, and I updated my worksheet that I send to the commission members, which synopsizes the nature of your response. So they have seen it, they didn't see the actual response, but they saw my synopsis of it.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure because I didn't want to have to dictate everything out if you didn't. I know you guys probably got a busy day, but I went to go file. The bank had closed the account. I had to go address the bank, got the information from them. They shouldn't have closed it out because it was a political account. Last year, obviously, I was not running, so we kind of forgot about it, but we did pick up right up on that. And then was waiting for the letter from you that was sent out March 26th, and we received that April 22nd. We got in the mail, and after I received that, I went right over to the Board of Elections and was working on completely getting everything together to completely close the account out. Made a few amendments, got the account down to it's zero, the bank fees, and it ended up taking that to zero. And I also included a statement from the bank manager that they had closed the account last year and they shouldn't have. So, but everything I had provided for you guys, the envelope and when we had received the letter from you, along with detailed information of our closing of the account.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioner members?
I'll move to adopt the good cause recommendation of the executive director.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and properly second under discussion. Any discussion? Any questions? Seeing none, you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
You guys have a good day.
The next matter I would bring to the commission is case number 2025 R053. Stacy Collier, vote for Stacy Collier. It is currently in the continued category because we did not have, we could not recognize that there was good mail service on either the treasurer or the candidate. Ms. Collier is present here before the commission. She can certainly make a statement to the commission. There is no indication that the report has been filed, of which I am aware of. And so that would be a critical element if she can establish that the report's been filed before making a statement. But the commission certainly can hear from her at this point.
Commission members, that's number 43 under continued for service. Ms. Collier, do you want to address the commission?
Yeah, yes,
Okay, you'll need to be sworn then.
sure, thank you.
You keep fading in and out. I'm not sure.
I don't know what's going on with my camera.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Collier, go ahead.
Well, I thought I checked just yesterday and I thought it had been filed. I do apologize. My treasurer had quadruple bypass. And so now I'm trying to take over that task. I thought I looked online and saw that it was filed. If it has not, I do apologize for that. I will do that this evening. I am at the mercy of the panel at this moment.
Okay, obviously, we need you to make sure you get your filings in and check that,
Yes.
and then we will check here. And then we will have to, it'll come before the commission at another meeting.
Sure, I'm gonna double check that just as soon as I close from here. I'll make sure
Okay.
to look at that this evening.
All right, that's great. Just make sure they're in, or make sure they're filed, and then we can make our decision subsequent to that.
I do appreciate that, and I do apologize in advance for this. I do apologize.
Okay. Accepted, thank you. Okay.
Thank
I think
you.
we're- Okay,
And
thank you,
I'll-
man.
So I'll just hang on, or do I just,
Well, unless are there questions for the commissioner or Mr. Richter?
Not from me, or you just can continue.
Yeah, I'll just continue as the chair.
I do appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you, sir, and thank
Okay.
you, Cano. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Have a nice day. Okay, Mr. Richter, where are we going?
The next one that I would bring to the commission, having continued that matter, Mr. Chairman, is case number 2025 R047. Geraldine Renee Bolton, that is also on the continued case list, item number 37. Again, I checked last week as I was doing my initial preparation, and none of the reports had been filed at that time. I did not check this week with the Board of Elections to update those because it was being continued. Certainly, Ms. Bolton has a bit of a history before the commission. If you look at the ICW, that pertains to her case. There are 3 separate cases the commission has previously acted on. This case was up again and again. This was for a failure to file the 24 annual report. I don't know whether that report has been filed or not. I can't get on the line to check with Cuyahoga County Board. And so at this point, I would still recommend continuance, but we can certainly hear from Ms. Bolton if she has any information to provide as it relates to any and all of the matters that are pending before the commission.
Ms. Bolton, did you want to address the commission?
Yes, please.
Okay, you'll have to be sworn, man.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Bolton.
Yes, good morning. I ran for office in 2021, and shortly after elections, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And during that whole period, I did file an initial report, but then I got caught up in all of the treatment and chemo and everything, and was unable to properly pursue anything else with regard to politics. I did not know what I needed to do. It's really just a matter of ignorance on my part of not knowing what I needed to do to resolve all of this. And then, I just recently, my breast cancer has returned. And so this is just like one of those things that I need to get this taken care of, but I don't know what to do. I've closed out the bank account. I don't know who I need to talk to. I just need to take care of it, and I don't know how.
So you'll need, ma'am, to talk to the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections.
Okay, is there somebody that I need to call there? Is there like a specific person or just anybody who answers the phone?
I would encourage you to be in touch with, at least initially, Rosemarie Amato at the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections. AMATO is her last name. She is in charge of the campaign finance area at the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections. Let me ask you a few questions. Okay, so you initially ran in 2021. Is that what you said?
I believe, yes, it was 21.
And was
Yeah.
it in the primary or the general election?
It was a general election.
Okay. Did you file a post-election report in 2021?
I did.
Okay.
And
I-
there
because
was.
I don't have any record of that.
$25 discrepancy or something like that on the report. And then I got the breast cancer diagnosis and everything just went downhill from there.
And so then from that point forward, you haven't done anything, is what you're essentially saying. Is that correct?
I have done nothing except close out the bank account.
Okay. Yeah, what you would need to do, I would encourage you to be in touch with the staff at the board. And if it's not Ms. Amato, she would refer you to a campaign finance examiner that they have. And I would anticipate they would be able to help you get your filings in order and file as of whenever you closed your account, more than likely. At some point, you know, it's, for like a 2022 annual report, something along those lines. Once you get that done, they'll give you a receipt that reflects your filing with them. At that point, then I would encourage you to take a copy of that receipt and send in a response that explains some of the circumstances that you just talked about here. Of course, we can also recall this, and you're welcome to make reference back to your statement to the commission. And then we can put the matter back before the commission for consideration. But there are 3 outstanding matters that the commission decided previously, that are outstanding that would impact on the nature of my recommendation and how the commission would consider your case. Just to give you a heads up. Okay? But at this point, you need to be in contact with the staff at the board, and I'm confident they would be able to help you get your filings in order.
Okay. Thank you very much for all of that information. I will be in touch with them today. I appreciate whatever consideration you can give me. Like I said, I need to get this taken care of before I start more treatment and all of that. I can't have this hanging over me while I'm trying to deal with the fun of chemotherapy. So thank you very much for your time and your consideration.
Well, you're welcome. We're sorry that you have to go through that illness, and I will continue it as the chair. Just as Mr. Richter had said, though, make sure you call the board and get your filings in, okay?
Okay, I will. Thank you very much.
All right, you have a nice day. Okay,
You as
Mr.
well.
Richter.
The last person appears to be online is Paul, at least according to the notes that Mr. Hughes has shared with me, is Paulette Hankins. I'm not certain what case that would be related to.
It actually appears that she has left the chat, so nobody else.
Oh, okay. Well, that being the case,
Mhm.
then we can
To the
call
audience.
up, we can call up case number 2025 R075.
What number is that on the left?
65.
Thank you.
05 is, and it
Allison
is,
Manning.
yes, it is it's under the good cause category. Persons are here present today on behalf of Ms. Manning. The report has been filed, a response was received. My recommendation is to find a violation, but for good cause, not impose a fine, or refer the matter for further prosecution, but certainly we can hear from your counsel at this point.
Are you an attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you don't need to swear.
No, he just needs to identify who he is.
Okay. Good morning, Chair, Director, and members of the commission. My name is Ian Dollimer. I'm appearing here along with my co-counsels Heather Blessing and Mike McGuire on behalf of our client Allison Manning. To start with, our client fully understands that she is personally and ultimately responsible for knowing and complying with the campaign finance deadlines. To give a little bit of a background, our client was referred to the board for missing the annual filing deadline of January 31st. The complaint from the county BOE stated that our client was mailed on January 10th. She never received that. We're presuming that it was mailed to the wrong address because the board's complaint also listed an incorrect address. Although we did go back and verify that the correct address was on file with the board and made sure that that lined up with her designation of treasurer reform as a stopgap to hopefully prevent that miscommunication in the future. Note also that right away from realizing her error, our client filed the campaign finance report the same day she discovered the error, which was February 5th, 5 days after missing that filing deadline. We've also implemented future safeguards. Our client reached out to the board to let them know of the mistake, as I mentioned, to correct the system and make that designation of treasurer reform match. She also went to Secretary of State and BOE websites and made sure to fully implement and put calendar reminders in for all future filing deadlines so that we don't have another missed deadline coming up. In light of the fact that our client has no prior violations, all previous reports were filed timely, and that there was no campaign activity for us to report from her last filing in 2023 until the present, we would respectfully ask for leniency from the board, but we humbly respect whatever your decision is and are ready to answer any questions. Our client is also on standby and can appear virtually if you need her to answer any questions as well.
Any questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, Mr. Rick.
Mr. Chair, one question. You talked about the address. So the address was not current with the Board of Elections. Had she moved or?
It appeared that we had the correct, it was for her treasurer, is that correct? That it was the correct address, like street number, but it was the incorrect city.
Designation.
No, you're fine. Needs to be sworn.
No,
Heather
that's
Blessing.
Heather Blessing.
Oh, I'm not a counsel.
Yes, our client had filed the correct address on the designation of treasurer, and the board, for whatever reason, had sent it to the wrong city and zip code.
Okay, so it could have been a clerical error on behalf of the Board of Elections.
Yes, that's my understanding.
Mr. Chair, if I could, do you have that document part of the record, or do you have it here today for evidence?
We would have submitted that, and if not, we can get it.
Yes, sir, that is correct. We have a copy of her designation of treasurer form. It's attached to the affidavit that was submitted.
There was a response submitted that included materials. Yes.
To show the distinction, the error that was made.
It was pointed out in the response. Yes.
Okay, any other questions from the commissioners? I think we're good. You have a question? Okay. Mr. Richter?
Yeah. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I'm comfortable with my recommendation to find a violation, but for good cause, not impose a fine or refer the matter based on the circumstances, but I certainly respect and understand if the commission would go in a different way and the nature of the response that was submitted and the statement just made to the commission.
And how late was the?
5 days.
5 days. 5 days on the dress. Right? So it's in your hands, committee.
I'm going to the recommendation of the executive director.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a second. Okay, any discussion? We have a motion properly made second. Any discussion? All right, you ready to vote? All those in favor of the recommendation of the executive director signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
No, and if you indulge me just for a moment, the no is because I would have dismissed the matter rather than agree with the executive director.
Okay. Chairman also votes no on that, so.
Oh,
Okay. Well, it's, okay,
then the motion fails. It would be appropriate to have another motion before it passes.
Passes 3-2.
Passes 3-2. Good.
Yeah, we need 4 votes. You need a majority of the commission to act on any matter. So
Not a majority of the.
not a majority of the quorum, no, a majority of the commission. We need 4 votes in order to take an action.
that's odd.
Rather bizarre rule. Okay.
That is what the statutes say.
Well, to your benefit, obviously. So you say it's dismissed?
Well, no, I think I would, unless I'm wrong, I would make a motion then alternatively that the matter be dismissed.
Well, yeah, hold on, let's get a clarification. So that the motion failed, right?
There's been no action taken on this matter, so it's still pending before the
Okay,
commission.
okay. So Mr. Kirschner, go ahead.
Yes, I would then move to dismiss.
Okay,
Second.
all right. There's a motion properly before us with a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, you're ready to vote? All those in favor of Mr. Kirschner's motion, please signify by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Okay, it's 5-0. So you dismiss the matter.
Thank you very much.
Now, for other filings, that's who is.
Ready. Now, where are we going?
Okay, well, we're back to, I would say we could go through the rest of the agenda. There's nobody else online, right, Chris? So we're essentially going. That's correct.
Oh, okay. All right.
Then we can go through. The first case, I'll just be addressing cases, Mr. Chair. members of the commission. Item number 6, 2025-R016, I'm recommending that we just dismiss it. This is one where I'll take a little bit of a hit. We need to inform the board that the commission has already declared this candidates committee terminated. We did that a couple of cases ago, actually. The circumstances were such that we found a violation in a prior case. But as a part of our finding, we declared the committee terminated based on her circumstances. And so we just need to inform the board that this matter has already been resolved. And so I think it's appropriate to just dismiss this case.
Okay, we need a motion.
Yes.
All right, you heard Executive Director. Is there a motion?
Move to adopt.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion second, properly made. Any discussion? Seeing none, you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter?
Next two matters, I am requesting dismissal for failure of service. Both certified and regular mail have already come back to the commission indicating that the respondent and the recipient have moved. And so we do not have good addresses at this point. We need to be better contact with the Board of Elections to see if they have better addresses for subsequent matters. But for these cases, I would recommend that we dismiss them for failure of service.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from the Executive Director. A motion would be in order.
So moved.
Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion properly second. Any discussion under the motion? Seeing none, you're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter?
Under the good cause category, there are 3 cases that are still pending. Items 14, 26, and 29, case numbers 2025-R-024, 036, 039. The filings were made with the Board of Elections between 10 days and 2 weeks or sooner. With the board, a response was submitted that gave an explanation. So my recommendation on those 3 matters is to find a violation, but for good cause, not impose a fine or refer the matter for further prosecution.
So motion would be in order.
Correct.
Move to adopt.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion. There's a proper second. Any discussion? Seeing none, you're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter?
Under the $50 fine category, there are, looks like 6 cases that have not been acted on. Items 3, 10, 12, 28, 47, and 48. Case numbers 2025-R-013, 020, 022, 038, 057, 058. In these circumstances, the filings were made with the board, but they were beyond about a 2-week period of time and sometimes much later. A response was submitted giving me a basis to make a recommendation to the commission to find a violation and impose a fine of $50. I'd be glad to answer any questions of the commission.
Okay. Are there any questions from Mr. Richter before we begin? Okay, you've heard Mr. Richter's recommendation. A motion would be in order.
Move to adopt.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second properly before us. Any discussion? Any discussion? Mr. Carroll, you good? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Okay, those passed by a vote of 5-0. Mr. Richter?
The next case, I'm recommending we find a violation, impose a fine of $50, and also declare the committee terminated. The filing was made, a response submitted. The board worked with the candidate here. I had a couple of different conversations with the Muskingum County Board as it relates to this. You can see the outline of the response that I put in. What it comes down to is at the very end, the candidate was still out of balance by mere cents. I thought I listed in there, but I didn't. I can't remember how much, but it's like 25 cents, something like that. And so he's desirous of terminating his committee, but he can't because his committee is slightly out of balance. And so that's the difference between this case and the last one. The last set is I'm recommending here that the committee be declared terminated because of the out of balance situation in which the candidate finds himself. I'll be glad to answer any other questions the commission may have.
Okay, any questions from Mr. Richter? You've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion, Mr. Quokey, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Knight. Any discussion under the motion? No discussion. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it 5-0. Mr. Richter,
There's one remaining case under the $100 fine category, item 21, case number 2025 R-031. The report was filed, but no response was submitted, giving me a basis to make a further recommendation. So without that, my recommendation is to find a violation and impose a fine of $100. I'll be glad to answer any other questions the commission may have.
any questions from Mr. Richter? Okay, you've heard the recommendation. A motion would be in order.
Move to adopt.
To adopt by Mr. Kirschner. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Quokey. Under discussion, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it at 5-0. Mr. Richter.
Under the $200 fine category is item 30, excuse me, case number 2025 R-040. Tara Dyer. The report has been filed. While it was only about 10 days late, there was no response submitted to the commission. In addition, there were 3 separate cases the commission has previously decided concerning this candidate. And so my recommendation here is to find a violation and impose a fine of $200. I'll be glad to answer any other questions the commission may have.
Any questions for Mr. Richter? Seeing none, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Caraway. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Quokey. Under discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, you're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it 5-0. Mr. Richter.
Here also we have. I'm going to need to change my recommendation that has been previously submitted, but yeah. Anyway, it's item number 19, case number 2025 R-029, Gerald D. Strout. The report was filed. We received a response from the treasurer, also was the candidate, or the treasurer is also counsel for the candidate, who requested that, who indicated that the candidate was a write-in candidate, didn't spend much money on his campaign. The treasurer indicates that he made a minor math error on a report which was intended to be a termination report, but it necessitated the campaign committee remain open. And so subsequently it stayed open for a while. The commission had 3 separate prior cases involving this committee and this candidate. First case in 2019, we found a violation, imposed a fine of $50, which was paid. In 2022, we found a violation, imposed a fine of $150, which has not been paid. And then we had a case in 2023 as well. And so my recommendation is to reconsider all the outstanding matters, vacate the findings in those cases, consolidate those cases with this one, and impose a fine of $400. I originally wrote $500, but that's a mistake on my part because the maximum fine that we could impose would be $400 because the report was 4 days. This report was 4 days late. We could have leveraged presumably other cases for a higher fine, but I feel like $400 is equitable. I'll be glad to answer any other questions that the commission may have, and you're certainly welcome to disagree with me.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Richter? Seeing none, a motion would be in order. You've heard his recommendation for $400. Motion would be in order.
I will move the recommendation of the executive director at a $400 fine.
Motion by Mr. Quokey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Kirschner. Discussion? Any discussion? All right, you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Richter.
This is an interesting one. I'll be glad to answer other questions the commission may have. Item number 35, case number 2025R-045, Robert Bloomquist. We've got a variety of cases that are outstanding. I'm recommending that we reconsider all those outstanding matters, vacate the previous impositions of pretty fines in those cases. Consolidate all outstanding cases with this one, find a violation and impose a fine of $800. The Board of Elections reached out and indicated that they had been working with this respondent, that he has filed a report, terminated his committee with a recent filing. We did not hear anything further from the candidate. But based on the board working with him and indicating that the outstanding reports have been filed and the committee is declared terminated by the board, you see my recommendation. I'll be glad to answer any of the questions that the commission may have.
Any questions from Mr. Richter?
I had a question of the executive director.
Mr. Knight, go ahead.
Why $800?
Why $800? Couple reasons. Just trying to be, I guess I'd say, somewhat equitable as we resolve these matters, try and resolve these matters. In researching this, I did find out that Mr. Bloomquist, through other matters that have been referred to the AG's office, had paid $705, the AG's office had gotten $705 from him in other payments. And so between that amount that the AG's office had collected and $800, I thought that $1,500 was a reasonable fine under this set of circumstances, but certainly I can understand that the commission might want to view that differently.
Any further questions? Any discussion? Ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion,
There's no vote yet.
I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself.
You're getting ahead of us here. You're getting ahead of it.
All right. Any other questions? I went out of order. That's what discussions always last. Okay. Okay, a motion would be in order.
So I will move the recommendation of the executive director.
$400, okay.
$800.
800. Just checking. All right.
You're trying to.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
There's a second by Mr. Caraway. All right, there's a motion properly before us and second for $800. Any further discussion? Seeing none, you ready to vote? All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter.
I'm going to go ahead and address the next four categories all at one time because they're all relatively similar. Not exactly, but relatively. They involve situations where the reports have not been filed by the candidates. Actually, let's do the next three categories. I'm sorry. $25 per day, items 4, 11, 27, 38, and 56, 2025R014, 2025R-021, 2025R-037, 2025R-048, 2025R-066, $25 per day with a reconsideration option with a payment of $250. Item 18, 2025R-028, and $2,927 and $2,975 plus $25 a day with reconsideration option on items 34 and 53, 2025R-044 and 063. Again, these are situations where the report has not yet been filed. It's been confirmed with the Board of Elections, or I've reviewed it online. No, they've all been confirmed by the Board of Elections, excuse me. And so my recommendation is to, and they've had the difference in each case. Recommendation is the number of times the individuals have been before the commission and what has happened in the past. I'll be glad to answer any of the commission, any other questions that the commission may have, and we can either take these matters all as one or take them individually. I'll leave that up to you.
Okay, let's take them as one, but then we can pull out if anybody has a question. How's that? So any questions, first of all, for Mr. Richter? Okay, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Under discussion? Okay, you ready to vote? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion recommendation by Mr. Richter for cases, you already read them. in the series of 2025R 014-021-037, 048, and 066, correct?
Correct.
All right. Motion properly second. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter.
Well, the next case is $25 a day with reconsideration option with payment of $250. There had been one prior in which the commission found a violation and imposed the $25 per day fine. The person is now back again, the report still having not been filed.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation from Mr. Richter. Any questions for him? Seeing none, a motion would be in order.
So moved.
So moved. There's a second.
Second.
Motion and second, under discussion. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter.
The next items are more than two matters have been before the commission previously for these two campaign committees. They are back again. The reports have not been filed. That was confirmed by the Board of Elections. And so my recommendation is to find a violation. Impose a fine of $2,975, which represents the amount, $25 a day from the date the report was due until today's meeting date, and then $25 per day in the future. I'll be glad to answer any of the questions the commission may have.
All right,
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Mr. Caraway, go ahead.
thank you. Just confirming with Mr. Richter, do we have any response has been received? I didn't see that on the ICW.
No, there have been no responses on either of these cases.
Either. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Richter? All right, you've heard the recommendation. A motion would be in order.
So moved.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion properly second. Under discussion. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Mr. Richter.
Item number 42, case number 2025-R-052 is, again, a candidate committee that has had multiple referrals before the commission previously. I received information back from the board indicating that this person originally ran, I think lost, although I'm not confirmed by that, but I believe that to be the case in 2015, has not filed any reports subsequent to this. In getting information from the board, they haven't objected, I guess I would say, and encouraged, along with finding a violation and imposing the fine amount that I've identified, $9,700 plus $100 per day, giving the person the opportunity to have the matter reconsidered. But to then declare the committee terminated just because of the length of time there have been no reports or no reports submitted or activities by the candidate or committee with the Board of Elections. I'll be glad to answer any of the questions the commission may have.
Any questions from Mr. Richter? Seeing none, a motion would be in order.
Yeah, I would just like to say, Mr. Chair, that I appreciate the detail and thoroughness that Mr. Richter places into analyzing these cases and in making decisions as it relates to these fines. It's certainly very helpful, and I would move to adopt the recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Kirschner. There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second by Mr. Caraway. Motion properly second, under discussion. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion passes 5-0. Mr. Richter.
The next series of cases are continuances, either a continuance upon my request or a continuance upon the request of the respondents or a continuance for failure of getting service. I won't list the item numbers, but the case numbers involved are 2025-R-049, 2025-R-059, 2025-R-015, 017, 019, 025, 026, 030, 032, 034, 035, 042, 041, 042, 043, 046, 047 has been dealt with, 050, 051, 053 has been dealt with,
Right.
054, 055, 061, 062, 064, 065, 067, 068, 069, 070, 071, and 073. Mr. Chair, you have the ability to just continue those matters for interaction.
All right, the chair will then continue all the numbers that Mr. Richter just read, cases that he just read, and those will be continued.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
if I may,
Yes, sir.
so these, the set is going to be continued for service. However, 2025 R 47 and 54, those folks were online today.
53.
I'm sorry, 53. My
Right.
apologies.
That's okay.
There's, my lines got fuzzy. So did we not have a card back, or how were they there? How did they know that there was a hearing today if we didn't have service on them?
Good question.
A great question.
Okay.
The answer to which I cannot give only because while I never used to, I always just relied on whether we got the green cards back or not, or got a return, let's say. I don't know, over the last maybe 6, 7, 8 meetings, as I'm doing my preparation for these, I will actually go on to the USPS website and see what they're reflecting as status, because we have, when we send out certified mail, there's a certified mail number, and I can run that through their system and it updates you on where it is. And so for all the ones for continued service, not only did we not have a green card back, but when I checked online, there was an indication that it was somewhere in service still, either out for service or being returned to us for incomplete service. And so that's all I can rely on is that kind of information. And as it relates to those two people, I wish I had a better answer than that, but according to the U.S. Postal Service, they had not been served when I last checked, which would have been last Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, which is when I was doing the majority of the work in anticipation of this. Although we still regularly get stuff back from USPS, even up to, I was updating ICWs without necessarily providing them to you guys. If we get back, let's say, I've already recommended a continuance and we get something back, and Chris has taken, I know there were some from May 2nd, which would have been Friday, right? Yeah, which would have been Friday, and May 5th, which would have been Monday, where Chris had already gotten regular mail back out if we got certified mail service back as undeliverable for one reason or another. So we're constantly reviewing and checking for service. Somehow those got it, but USPS didn't tell us that they did, or somehow they became aware of it.
Thank you.
Okay. So the chair will, I think I said it, but if not, we will continue those.
Yes, you had.
All right, Mr. Richter.
The last item on today's agenda is item number 66, case number 2023 R-0240. It's a reconsideration matter. We received a request from Rob Harris for council and committee that the matter be reconsidered. On January 18th, 24, we found a violation, imposed a fine of $25 per day. The candidate reflected that he simply forgot to file the annual report as he kept the committee open after the election, even though he did not realize that additional reports were required. And the end of this has been submitted, reports corrected, and the committee has been terminated. With that being the case, my recommendation is to reconsider the matter, vacate the previous imposition of a per diem fine, and instead impose a fine of $50. I'll be glad to answer any of the questions that the commission may have.
Any questions for Mr. Richter?
I have at least 3 that I wrote down.
Huh?
One
Mr.
is,
Kirshner, go ahead.
1 is rationale, 2 is ability to pay, and 3 is increased range. So as to the rationale, what's the thought process behind the $50, and have you in any way evaluated the ability to pay? You may not be able to.
I was going to say, yeah, to answer that question, I guess the simple answer is no, I have not. As it relates to the rationale, when I get these kind of matters back, you look at what the nature of the circumstances were, at least to me. I look at what the nature of the circumstances were as it relates to the nature of the committee being open, why it was left open. You know, was this kind of a candidate for, you know, a small council seat where you may have filed the waiver, and a lot of people, well, they should be aware that if they don't do something, the committee remains open, and then the year after they run, they have an annual report due, which appeared to be the case here. Also, I take into consideration the fact that, you know, he has corrected all of his reports. The board is satisfied with them. And when he did file his reports, he then terminated his campaign committee. So the committee is closed at this point. Yeah, I go back and forth on these kind of matters, whether I should recommend for a case like this, which is the person before the commission for the first time and the only time before the commission, whether I should impose a fine of $50 or $100, and you try and just get a feel for the nature of the response that's submitted, the explanation given, which was here. And again, whether the committee is terminated or not. Considering that this committee is terminated, I felt like $50 was an appropriate sanction under this set of circumstances.
Good. I think no one's more familiar with precedent in these matters than you. Certainly respect and understand your judgment. $50 is probably low end of the range of reasonable based upon all of your work and understanding of precedent. What would be at the high end range of reasonable in a matter such as this?
For a matter such as this, my belief that a high end for me would be $100, maybe $150, but $100 generally, you know, based on the fact that it's the first and only time that the candidate's been for the commission. Doesn't appear that he's going to run again to report it. And again, one of the factors that I often take into consideration is whether the committee's been terminated or not.
Yeah.
And you know,
and here,
it's a judgment call for me, and I respect that, you know, that as I often say, I'm the recommender, you're the decider as the commission members. And if you want to go in a different direction, I respect that greatly. I will say, going back in the past, as I've recommended reconsideration matters, going back to the early days of the commission, there were generally times where I would recommend the commission take a matter back up and find good cause not to impose a fine. And one of the early members of the commission was very direct in terms of addressing me. And he said, you know, if we go through this and make a determination, send a matter out, and then they come back, I want you coming back with a recommendation for a fine amount of some sort. And so I've always taken that into consideration as it relates to reconsideration matters, that unless there is some sort of extenuating circumstances, which you'll get sometimes. You know, we heard the lady earlier talk about, you know, going through the whole breast cancer diagnosis and so forth. And I will get these kinds of requests where someone comes back with, you know, had to take care of mother who was dying or father who was dying, or, you know, had an accident or whatever the case may be. And so there are those circumstances where I might still come back with a reconsideration of good cause recommendation. But generally, I'm always coming back with, in a reconsideration matter, the imposition of some sort of a fine, primarily based on the direction I got from Mr. Bayer back in the early days of the commission as an independent agency.
So your understanding of precedent, your recommendations are important. I'm prepared to make a motion. I'd make a motion to adopt the executive director's recommendation, but increase the fine to the high end of $150.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion properly second, under discussion. Seeing none, you're ready to vote. All those in favor of the motion to increase the fine from $50 to $150 signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Kirschner. Thank you, Mr. Chair. That is all the business that is on the agenda for today for the commission. Easy for me to say.
Yeah, let me, before we do that, just a reminder under other business. I'm sure
Oh,
You guys know that, but the financial disclosures are due May
Oh, yeah.
15th. If you haven't filed them, I'm sure you do. You don't want to have an ethics charge against us.
Good point. I did want to make that point and I almost forgot, but
That's
yeah.
all right. We got it.
Strongly encourage everybody to get their ethics filing in. You have until May 15th, so you've got a week from today
All right.
to get that submission made. I've made mine. Mr. Knight, I know, has made his.
I've made mine.
Mr.
Takes
Wiley
takes
made
about
his. And
30, 40 minutes. It's
Well,
all
thank you for the reminder. I would move to adjourn.
Okay, there's a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn, second. All those in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
All right.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Good to see you.
It's always. He knows it fines, et cetera. I don't know.
This, you know, when I get, there was a calculation error. So you just get. Worse than that. It's looking for. His original recommendation. 0.4 sleep is floating on.
Should have been based on.
Based on what you, what the commission.